Okay, so there is a difference between communication and compromise and trying to win an argument. I have lived both. I live my life now through communication and compromise. I will sit down and talk with you. I will I will sit down and have a conversation. Don't there's not going to be all that's I don't have time for it. It's crazy because once you have businesses that you're running and you're doing this and you're doing all this stuff, you don't have time for certain things anymore. I no longer have time for people who just want to argue to win an argument. I have discussions, not arguments. I have discussions and I'm trying to convey my information to you. Now, if you are in your feelings and instead of trying to convey your message to me on how you're feeling, you just want me to feel either like shit, you want me to concede to you instead of you kind of making me understand why this is a good way to go. Do you feel the energy difference in that? When you want me to concede, it feels one way. It feels harsh. It feels stern. It feels strong. It feels like you don't have a choice. But when you have a discussion with me and you want me to understand your point and how you feel and how it will affect you if it's done this way, that's communication. I do not want any parts of arguments. I don't care. Recently at work, I was in an argument and it drained the crap out of me. And I sat there afterwards going, Keisha, what are we doing? And I was like, fuck, we slipped because, she started popping off. I had to let her know. But I told you, I'm not fully healed yet. I am not fully healed yet. You understand? I still got triggers. I have a shadow that will cut down and burn down the world. I do. So remember, everything that I'm telling you, everything that I get on here with my cool, with my cool clothes, my cool jewelry and my cool glasses, when I get on here, it's not theory that I'm testing. Or telling you. It's like tested theories that I'm telling you. These are things that I live. I live this shit. It's not like I'm like, oh, I read it in the book. I saw it on TikTok. No, it's like I'm happy for the books. I'm happy for the TikToks. I'm happy for the YouTubers because honestly, they're explaining to me what the fuck is going on. At one point in my life, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I started getting YouTubes and TikToks and, different people popped up. So this is me popping up for you. So what I need you to do is stop arguing with people. And that's what I should have did in that argument. If you see, she just kept running her mouth. If you see that you are having a discussion with this person, but this person is not listening to anything that you're saying, they are just shooting off. They're just knee-jerk reactions. They're not even really listening to your logic. Stop talking. Jordan Peterson said that. Saved my fucking life. He was like, if you're talking to people and no one's listening to you, stop talking. Stop talking. And I was just like, damn, you're right. I was like, damn, you're right. I gotta stop talking because they're not listening to me. And I'm wasting my energy in a never-ending pit. That makes no sense. Now, if you're pouring into someone's cup so the two of you can be on the same wavelength and be in it together, that's a whole different ballgame. That's communication and compromise. If you have the person, whether it be your partner, whether it be the person you work for, whether it be your employee, whatever, your kids, it doesn't matter who it is. It works for everything. Everyone. What I'm teaching you works with everyone. It's not a specific type of person or not type of person or type of relationship. It works for all relationships. It probably will even work for a relationship with your pet. They just communicate differently. Does that make sense to you? because my son is nonverbal. He does it well. Honestly, Dylan is the most nonverbal verbal child I've ever met in my entire life. So when he's like not happy or not pleased, or we get into a conflict, I have to practice the same communication and compromise, even though most of the time I don't understand what he's saying or what the issue is or what the problem is. I have to take time to listen through his body language. That's why they probably had me study body language. Listen through his body language. Listen through the different sounds that he makes. Because I keep saying, Dylan's the smartest person in the room. He understands what he's saying. He understands what we're saying. We don't understand what he's saying. So who's smarter? I digress. But yeah, it works for anyone and everyone. Does that make sense? But you have to be willing to work it. And if you see that the person that you're trying to work it with doesn't want to work it with you, stop talking. Stop talking. All they want to do is fight. I'm not here to fight. I'm too pretty to fight. Do you know how long it took me to get like this? Absolutely not. I don't got time to fight. I'm too busy trying to figure out what country is the first country I want to travel to when I finally get the fuck out of here. That's what I want. That's where my mindset is. My mindset is, how can I monetize all the stuff that I'm doing? How can I build this empire so it can sustain itself and I don't need an outside force to sustain it? That's the stuff that's going on in my head. There's at no point going on in my head, oh, she think, or oh, he think. I don't got time for that. I don't have time to impose ill will on people. Most of the time, I don't even notice that people are around. Unless their spirits go, hey, can you help out so-and-so? And then I start getting flashes that they need help. Or I get aches in my body that they need help. And I'm sitting here going, okay, and I start muscle testing. Okay, who am I attached to? Am I attached to this person? Is this person working with a new client? Is this why that their shit is going ape shit right now? That's how they get my attention. I am so center focused that I don't have time to argue. I don't have time to argue. And if you were center focused, you wouldn't have time to argue either. Even if you're with your partner and you're center focused and he's center focused or she's center focused, whatever. If you are there and you both agree, we're going to communicate and we're going to compromise. You understand? That's what we're going to do. If I have something that I don't like, or something happens that I don't like and you happen to be the one who did it, I'm going to sit down with you and be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And you're going to be like, yeah, what's going on? Granted, like I said a couple of years back in a video, you got to pick and choose the time you talk to people. If, say for instance, my guy, if he's in I don't have one yet, but my guy, if he's in a funky mood and I already know he's in a funky mood, or I already see that he's in a funky mood, I ain't gonna say shit to him. That's not the time for me to be like, you know what? I don't like this. I've done that. And it was such a bad thing to do because it was such bad timing. And I wasn't the high empress that I am right now and the sovereign empress that I am right now. So I did not handle that well. And I can honestly admit that. Person was going through some stuff and it was like, then I was like, I have an issue. And that's how I can tell you this. It doesn't work. It's not good. It's not a good thing. And not only can I tell you from the person who did it standpoint, because I was the one who did it, I can also tell you from the receiving end of it. When you're drowning, that's not the time for someone to be like, hey, I have an issue, and then add a 5-pound weight to whatever you're already dealing with. So if you're going to sit and have a conversation with your person or your child, it could be even your child. If your child comes home, there are times that I need to talk to Jaden about something, and I walk into his room and I look at his face and I switch the conversation to something completely different. because I know right now he is not in the receptive mode to understand what I'm talking about. So you have to find timing. Timing is extremely important. If you're going to do communication and compromise, you have to have timing. Things have to be timed properly. You can't just be like, I'm mad, so fuck the world. You can't do that. If you're sovereign and you know and you're strategic and you're playing chess instead of checkers or some weird shit, you know that everything is a strategic move and everything is timing. And the same thing comes with the people around you. Same thing with your business partner. If you know your business partner is going through a divorce, that's not the time for you to be like, oh, I think we need to restructure the business. What the fuck are you doing? Unless you are like tanking and you're like, okay, dude, I understand. And that's how you preface it. Dude, I know. I know shit is rough right now, but we got to handle this. You understand? That's how you talk to someone. You understand? If it's and it has to be something that has to be taken care of right now. If you see that that person is not okay, whatever you bring to them, it has to be, needs to be handled right then and there. If not, something bad is going to happen. That's the only time you bring something like that to that person. And I'm not talking about your emotions and how you feel, because you can take care of those. You can go do something the fuck else. You understand? Because you're not going to get, I'm telling you from my own experience, you are not going to get from that person the compromise and communication that you need. You are going to get the panicked, stressed out, fucking drowning, tortured person instead of the person who's open, who's prepared to compromise. People have to be prepared to compromise and communicate. People have to be prepared. They have to be prepared. You can't just pop in and be like, okay, we're going to talk about this right now. You have to see and gauge what they are. If you go to your partner or your person and you say to them, hey, I need to talk about something that I'm having trouble with. The other person, and this is, I told you I was on both sides. The other person needs to be like, I am not in the right headspace right now. You have to be like, I am not in the right headspace right now. I would love to hear what you need and what's going on with you. I'm not in the right place right now to receive that from you. And I don't want to fuck this up. That's exact you. That is not, maybe not verbatim, but being in a relationship, in any type of relationship with me, that's what I would say to you. I'd be like, I am not okay right now. And I think I've said that to a couple of people. I'm not in the right headspace right now to have this conversation. I can't do this with you right now because you're not going to get the best of me. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for any type of partner, whether it be a friend, whether it be a lover, whether it be whatever, my children, when I am not okay, you have to be able to allow me to be like, right now it's not the time. And when I need to talk to you about something, you need to tell me, Keisha, this is really not the time for me right now. Let's come back to it. But you have to remember one thing, especially with me, you need to come back to it. I'll give you a day or two to get whatever together that you need, but I'm not going to sit there forever with the shit that I need to do because it's affecting my life. Does that make sense to you? There's a lot of caveats and canyons and dips and shit and all this other stuff. Does that make sense? So it's like you have to be careful with the peaks and the valleys because you could trip over a rock and bust your head open if you don't do this properly. But what I want and what I'm teaching you guys right now is that we need to start to communicate and compromise instead of trying to win an argument. Trying to win an argument, you're just trying to shut the person down. You're just trying to shut the person up. You're not trying to understand anything. You just want your way and you don't care about what the other person's way is. That is not companionship. That is not friendship. That is not love. You understand? In everything, you must seek peace. If you come into a discussion, that's what needs to be done. Peace and compromise, communication. What do you need? What do I need? How do I get my needs met and your needs met? I'm a very even-keeled person, and it's like And this is not for the gram, and this is not for whatever. You can ask anybody. You can just pick someone in my life right now and be like, hey, I heard her say this, 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 and that about herself. Is that true? They'd be like, yeah. They'd be like, yeah, that sounds like her. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That sound, whether it be a family member, whether it be an employee, whether it be a boss, even when I'm in conflict with my employees, it's still not for me to win an argument. It's for me to have you comply in a way that suits you and suits me. You understand? And it's like, and I need you to understand why you need to comply to this protocol this way so that it can work out. And I know somebody's like, well, didn't you say comply is not good? When that's it, like when it's only comply, that's a problem. But if I'm like, hey, I'm the boss, I need this protocol done and I need it done this way. And they're like, no, that's not what I want to do. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to say this again. I'm the head of this and it's my department. So I want it done this way. I hired you to help me. I didn't hire you for me to help you. That's not how it is. But at the same time, I have to be flexible with what they need. So when they communicate to me, which they did, what they needed, I was like, you know what? It's not that serious. Okay. We can do it. We can meet in the middle. You understand? I'm more of a meet in the middle type of person. Sometimes it's off center, or depending on what it is. So that's pretty much it. That was all I stopped by to say. So I love you guys. Stay up, stay blessed. No more arguing. No more arguing, no more fighting. If people are not listening to you when you speak, stop talking. Did you not like the dating thing? You like the fact that I said I wasn't dating anybody?